Backache. Well, hello all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porkys Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. A lot of people keep emailing me, asking me, Porky, what's your top 5 fights that you like to watch? You know, when you're bored and you want to put some boxing on, and people keep also emailing, what's your top 10? So I'll meet you halfway. I'm going to give you the top 7. I'm going to give you the top 7 fights that I like to watch. They're always the same fights that I always go back to watch. I don't know why that is, but these fights, I always seem to put them on. And they don't have to be in any particular order because I like them all. So I like Froch against Jermaine Taylor. We all know about Jermaine Taylor, don't we? Beat Hopkins twice after about a 10-year run as middleweight champion. He was undisputed middleweight champion after he beat Hopkins. Then he beat him at rematch. You know, he'd just given Jeff Lacey his second defeat in a final eliminator for WBC. Carl Froch went over to America and fought him and got dropped for the first time as a professional early on in the fight. And he rallied back and stopped Taylor. So late, he stopped him with, I don't know, 12 seconds left or something like that. So I thought that was a fantastic fight. Heart and will got Carl through that fight. Heart and will. All right. Turo Gatti against Mickey Ward. Ward Gatti, Gatti Ward, however you want to call it. They had 3 fights. The first fight, you know, it's the stuff, it's Roy of the Rovers stuff, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If it were football, it'd be Roy of the Rovers. I can't emphasize how big a part the referee, Frank Cappuccino, played in that fight. And also the commentators and the pundits. Right? Could you imagine that today? We've been going on about stamp collections and spiders on somebody's elbow. Next design's going to be a spider's web on his elbow. Rough, tough, rugged. Could you imagine that? From Bean. Hey. You know, could you imagine Steve Gray or Ian John Lewis as refereeing that? It'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it? It'd be embarrassing. So how many fights have your Steve Grays and your Ian John Lewis's and Adam Smiths? And how many fights have they ruined? The American pundits and commentators didn't ruin that fight. They didn't bore us to death through it. We had Manny Stewart in there and, you know, the other guy, I forgot his name in with long hair, Jim Lampley, is it? I mean, everything came together for that promotion, and a lot of credit has to go to Lou DiBella, Cafe Duva, people like that, but the fighters deserve the most credit. Do you know why? Because they're in the ring, aren't they, putting it all on the line. They're in the ring. So Ward Gatti, for me, is in my top 7. Another fight I like, and Dennis Hobson's dad, Dennis Senior, he got me into watching this fight. I used to speak with him on a Wednesday evening about horse racing and things like that. This went on for a good few years, this before he died. We speak on a Wednesday evening about boxing and horse racing, and he always used to come back to Ron Lyle against George Foreman. There's something about that fight that Dennis's dad liked, and that's why I call Dennis Ron Lyle, because we always used to talk about that. Even when Dennis's dad was on his deathbed, in Sheffield Hospital. And then when they brought him home to die, we even used to speak about that on his deathbed, which he still had all these betting slips on his bed and that, bless him. But Dennis, when he'd had a drink, he always used to come up to me doing that. You know, and I said, Dennis, one day you're going to do that once too often. You're going to catch me somewhere and the trigger will go off and I'll take you down. And I did in Bulgaria. He'd come over and he was doing his Ron Lyle shadow boxing on me and he caught me there. So I took him down. That was that. And the rest, as they say, is all she wrote. But Ron Lyle against George Foreman, fantastic fight. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it. Real good fight. And Dennis's dad got me into watching that. And that's why I call Dennis Ron Lyle, because when Dennis has had a few whiskies, he thinks he is Ron, Big Ron. So another good fight that I like to watch for the sheer brutality of it. They couldn't get out of the way in this one, you see. Pair of them, because they were both on the side. Muhammad Ali against Joe Frazier, the thriller in Manila. Oh, 14 rounds. Brutality. Brutal. Never seen note like that in my life. For brutality. I thought Ward Gatty were bad, but that's why we love boxing so much, because they give everything. They couldn't give any more. And yeah, that fight there was Ali saying, cut the gloves off, I'm done. And Angelo Dundee saying, no, you know, you're all right. And in the other corner, Fraser wanted to carry on, but they pulled him out, didn't they? Eddie Futch. I think it was Eddie Futch who pulled him out. And he said, don't worry, son, nobody will ever forget what you did here. And that's all that matters, isn't it? Yeah, Ali won, but he was going to quit. Fraser lost, he didn't want to quit. And it had everything, didn't it? It took a clash of styles, clash of personalities. They'd been in ring twice before, and there were a bit of intense beef. They weren't pretend beef, were it, like Joe Fournier and David Hay? I mean, just where boxing's heading now. We've got them two imposters. Hey, and then you've got this here. Now, this is 46 years later, after the thriller in Manila, we have Hay Fournier. Hey, that's unbelievable, isn't it? But Ali Fraser thriller in Manila, that gets my vote. Another fight I like, that it weren't a thriller, it's just a fight that I like. They don't always have to be wars, you know, like these guys we've mentioned before in these previous 5 fights, but this 6th fight I'm going to mention here, it's just for skill and kind of like changing of the guard kind of thing. It's Floyd Mayweather's first world title fight. I always like to study Mayweather, but I like to go back early in his days, because you remember the guy Frankie Randall who gave Julio Cesar Chavez his first loss? Well, Mayweather was touching him up before he turned pro. That's a true story, that. Mayweather were touching him up before he turned pro. And people were saying, you're going to watch for this Mayweather kid. Frankie Randall was saying that. At first he couldn't, but then after he sparred him a few times, we were getting the better of him. Now, this is all out there on social media. It's like Ring Magazine back in the day and that. But if you go and watch Genaro Hernandez defend his world title against Floyd Mayweather, it's a changing of the guard. Mayweather, that's the sharpest you'll ever see him. He won every round, every minute of every round. He destroyed the guy. He not only destroyed him, he showed me that this guy could reign forever. And obviously he did, didn't he? I mean, what was that? A little over a year after receiving a bronze medal in the Olympics, where he was robbed. He should have gone on to win gold. But Mayweather against Genaro Hernandez, I always like to put that fight on if I'm bored. I flick through It's usually one of these 7 fights here, but that, yeah, Floyd Mayweather, Money May, the money team. But the last fight, I'm going to pick one that I were there on the night or ringside. It was Tyson Fury's debut as well as a professional. Carl Froch against John Pascal. John Pascal, an Olympian, undefeated at the time, number 2 ranked. Carl Froch, number 1 ranked, WBC. Calzaghe vacated on the 270th day. Vacated. But this particular fight I like for the simple reason that I followed Carl Froch from day one, and I've got a lot of time for him. And you know, it was his first world title fight, first world title belt that he won, one of 4 belts. He just won British outright. He couldn't get a fight with Christian Sanabayev at European, so he had to go the world title route. Calzaghe vacated, he didn't want to fight him. Carl had just turned 31. He was 23-0, 19 by way of knockout. So he was seasoned and he was banging people clean out, banging them out. And it was a fantastic fight, a roller coaster of emotion. Pascal ran the fight all the way up to the 9th round, and then Froch just pulled away. His fitness and will to win, and the Nottingham crowd saw him off, and that was one of the greatest nights in my life, because I followed him from day one, and I wanted him to do well. And you know, I've met him several times before then, and we spoke, and we've been mates ever since. But when he won his world title, it was a big thing for me because I'd invested my time in him. So I was really pleased, and that's about it, really. That's all I want to say. I was just pleased that he won a world title. So okay. So thanks for tuning in to members area. This is the 2nd members area of the month. We'd like to do 10 and like to mix it up. But what's your top 7 fights? If you could leave it in the comments section, let me know what's your top 7, and we'll take it from there. I'll interact with you. Or if you'd like to send it via email, porkycorner@mail.com. All right. So anyway, I'm going to do a review now of the weekend's action. I've done Weapon at Week. That'll be out tomorrow. We're going to do a review of weekend's action now, get that on YouTube. Okay, so thank you for tuning in, and thank you for being members and paying your £5.99 a month. It means a lot to me. We put every penny of it into helmets. So thank you very much. All right, and the more people that join, we're going to put more into the channel. All right, like I say, it's a non-profit making channel, and we're going places at the moment, and there's scope to do different things. We might be changing things up in next 2 or 3 months. Somebody might be coming on board, helping us out and giving some input. We might mix it up a bit. We're always going to do boxing stuff, but there's more to life than just boxing, isn't there? All right, so I just wanted to share that with you. There is opportunities out there for the channel to do different things, and you know, I'm going to grab it with both hands because I'm pretty resilient, as you've seen. All right, I'll just let you into a little secret as well. I'm going to film the part 2 to the Dave Caldwell episode tomorrow. Got some more people who want to come on the channel. I'm probably going to put it to bed then because I don't want to be seen as a bully. I've made my point. It's up to fans to decide then, isn't it? But Dave Caldwell's more than welcome on my channel. All right. Peace out. Keep on trucking. Keep supporting boxing. Don't have nightmares. And like I said, thanks for joining members area. Peace out.